Deepa Chaudhary. So Deepa is the founder and creator of GrantOrg, and she works at the intersection of nonprofits, technology, and fundraising. She's navigated the entire spectrum of the grant writing process, from writing proposals to allocating grants, as well as assisting nonprofits in adopting new technologies. So, without further ado, I'll hand it off here to Deepa. Thank you so much for being back here with us, and yeah, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, thanks, Andrew, for that great introduction. This is my third workshop in the series. The first one we did was how to 10x your grant funding. Second was all about visual storytelling, and then how to use AI to create videos and image generation like in seconds. But I'm going to show a bit of that again in today's workshop because it's all part of chatbots. And today it's all about discovering chatbots because you can do so much with them. Like literally, you can run your entire organization just using chatbots. So I'm going to, before I start, going hands-on with stuff, I want to just give you a good introduction to what is AI, because there's a lot of buzzword about AI, right? And there's a lot of mainstream news about AI, and a lot of it is very scary and negative, and it's not always like positive. But as a change maker, I come from a nonprofit background, co-founded United Way Mumbai, worked with Salesforce Foundation, been a fundraiser for a nonprofit in Singapore. So as somebody who's been in this sector and has always done like multiple things, because obviously we don't have the funds to hire everybody. Sometimes we don't get people with right skill sets, or we don't have right skill sets, right? Like as a fundraiser, I also did marketing, and I had to create like visuals and more compelling visual content. And I don't know anything about graphic design. I always struggled with it. I don't even know how to use Adobe. So, and so we never excelled at that. So for me personally, AI has been transformative. Like it has completely changed the way I function. I don't struggle. Like the struggle has gone away from my life because I know there is AI, right? Like I don't have to worry about anything. So that struggle thing doesn't exist anymore. And I'm like making movies. You'll see through this presentation, like I don't have any of these skill sets. I'm very good at copy and grants. And I understand the nonprofit space really well because I've been for so many years in this space. But besides that, there's so many skills I don't have, like how to code. I don't know how to code, but now I've been coding, and I just made website changes using using Copilot, and I just coded that. So we can literally do everything we couldn't do before. So that's how powerful AI is, and it's a real superpower for nonprofits. So what is generative AI? So I think it's important to distinguish generative AI from the previous AI. AI has always been around, but that AI was something we couldn't play a part in. Like it was mostly used by companies like Facebook and Netflix to recommend things that we like. So it was more predictive AI and machine learning, and they use that to recommend based on our past behavior that this is what we will like, and so they push that in our feed. But generative AI is like a brain. It's a computer brain that has learned everything about this world, and it can now create things, because it has all this knowledge. Just like human beings, we've learned what we learn, we can produce. And we can only hold a certain amount of information in our brain, but computer brain can hold vast amount of knowledge in their brain, and they can use all of that knowledge to create new stuff, create new content, be it text, images, video, music, voice. It's that. And another very important thing about generative AI is that it has understood the human language. So we don't have to be technical to use this technology. We can simply speak in the language that we know. If you are comfortable in English, you talk in English. If you know Spanish, you can talk in Spanish. Whatever is your language. If your English is not your first language, and you can still communicate in English, but it's broken English, you can still talk, and AI will understand what you're trying to say. And sometimes you can show pictures, and it'll understand the image. So it's called visual reasoning. So it's a really powerful technology. And the best part is that it's very easy to use. As long as we can communicate with it, it'll do stuff for us. And so this is just how does generative AI work. Like, they are trained on vast amounts of data. Like, there are two types of models: diffusion models and transformer models. All the video and image generation models are diffusion models, and the text models are transformer models. I won't go into the technical background, but as Andre Karpathy, he was the founding team of ChatGPT, and he was with Tesla, AI researcher. He says the way to think about generative AI or large language models, that's the technical term, is to think of it as the zip file of the internet. Everything that we as humans have put on the internet, on the open internet, has these models are trained on that. And they're also creating more data because they're creating synthetic data. So now AI can create more data which is synthetic, so it's not human created, and it's sometimes more superior quality. And they also are like towns specifically creating data. Like for instance, in India, there's a tuberculosis is still very prevalent, and there are these places where women are on their phone. Basically, they just have to verify. They just have to train verify the data they've been given, and do a quality check, and give it back to the model builders so they can use that data, and it can help a ton with tuberculosis, just in detection, scanning, everything. So AI is multi-modal. So modal, which basically means it understands all forms of communication, be it visual. You can show it an image, you can talk to it, or you can write something, and it understands all these various forms of human communication. And it's very technical. It all, like when we chat with a chatbot, it all goes into as a token, and it comes out as a token. And it seems like magic to us, but inside there is matrix multiplication happening. So it's very mathematical. But today we're going to talk about LLM chatbots. So generative AI, or large language models, which are trained on all of the data since the very start of the internet, is like a big computer brain. And chatbots are applications that are built for us to interact with those large language models. Otherwise, like, these large language models were there before ChatGPT came out as well, but it was impossible for humans to interact with those models. They didn't output, or they didn't understand our language. But what ChatGPT did was that they trained it on understanding humans' language. So they did a lot of that, and they created a chatbot, which is basically an application built on top of the large language models. So they were the very first ones in 2022. They released ChatGPT, and for the very first time, people were like blown away. They were like, I remember there was like an entire phase where people were like asking ChatGPT something, and it would pop out in seconds an answer, and people were taking screenshots and posting it on social media because it was such a new thing. And you can, like, you're talking to a machine, and machine is like talking back to us. And after that, all of the big companies saw the potential in it, and they released their own chatbots, and they have their own large language model. So each company has their own model. So we now have Gemini, which is by Google, Claude by Anthropic, Copilot by Microsoft. And I think I've never used Copilot, but Microsoft, I think, uses ChatGPT or OpenAI models. Grok, which is X, Twitter formerly, Meta AI, which if you use WhatsApp, you will see a bit of an integration of Meta over there. It's an open source model. Open source model means anybody can download it, and they can run it locally, and you don't need to have like an internet connection to talk to that model. You can have it running on your laptop, and you can talk to it. And same goes with DeepSeek, which is an open source model. So, and if you, I don't know, like I didn't see the chat responses, but feel free to jump in and say if you're familiar with all of this that I've put here. So each of the, now they're very like, because I don't know why they're so not clear about the naming of these models. But if you go to Gemini, for instance, if you're using Gemini, and there's always going to be a drop down list, and you'll see different models available for you. And these models are of different capabilities. You go to ChatGPT, they came out with 3.5. I think that was the first one. I'm not really sure. And then they kept training better and better models. And so came out ChatGPT 4. O3 is like a reasoning model, mini. Like it gets really confusing for the end user, like which one to select, because you can literally select. And I'm going to do some live demos to show you that. And look how many models you have. Like you go more models and you see GPT 4.5, 4.1, 4.1 mini. Like it is so confusing, right? And then same goes with Claude. Claude, Opus, Sonnet, and more models here. So it gets really confusing. But as an end user, always see whatever is the latest release, use that model. Because sometimes the older models keep getting, are still on the list, but they're down there. And they will have some capabilities, but I generally tend to go with the latest release. So for instance, I've experimented with all of these models, been a paid subscriber to all. So I can, and each one of them has like a different personality, because they give them a personality. Like Grok, for instance, is being told to be very, like straightforward and quirky in your answers. Gemini is very, like to the point, businessy. ChatGPT in the middle, they tuned it in a way that it started really agreeing with everything the users were saying. So they have these system prompts that they give, but which they keep adjusting. So I feel like working with different models, there's you'll see the personality over time. And I right now use Gemini as my default. I love Gemini. I also have ChatGPT. It's more, and I love the O3. And Claude, I've used them still. I'm on the free one right now. I had a paid one before, but I switched to the canceled the subscription recently. But I absolutely love Claude for writing. It's amazing. And engineers vouch for coding. They're like, Claude is the best when it comes to code generation. So every model has like their different strengths. And you will also see like reasoning models. So they are great because O3 is like, you'll see advanced reasoning, and 2.5 Pro will be reasoning, math, and code. So for everything, like for general purpose, like, you want to quick draft an email, or you want to ask a question, you want to just ask stuff like in which you don't want model to spend too much time thinking, which is not like, it's not really a hard problem that you're asking the model to solve, then use their latest release of the model. But if it is something that you want the model to spend more time thinking, rather than just giving out the answer, like for instance, you wanted to solve a really complex problem, you want it to tell you, you want to come up with innovative ideas to solve, I'm just saying, obesity, for instance. You can frame that, you can put that into any of the reasoning models, O3 here, O3 in ChatGPT, or 2.5 Pro, or Claude has, like for complex challenges, like put it into a reasoning model. The AI will take about good 15 seconds or 20 seconds. It will really think through the problem, break it down into multiple steps, and then give you an answer, or produce the output for you. So it won't be quick thinking, it's slow thinking, more strategic, like something that we humans will deliberate upon. And you can also use it for strategic planning, like for your organization. So those kind of like more complex stuff, use those reasoning models for that. And also they have different tools, because these large language models are trained on all the data that's available. They have like a training cutoff date, and so they don't get updated every day. Maybe in 2 years or 3 years, they'll release like a newer version. So in order to for these large language models to understand the real world, as it's happening, they've given them certain tools. Like you can do search the web. So you can, if you put your query here, like say you want to ask about, tell me all the restaurants in Vancouver that are vegetarian. It will have that information, but if you wanted to give more recent information, just click on search the web, and it'll search the web, plus it will infer the information it already has in its knowledge base, and then give you an answer. So that's really handy, like search the web. You can do deep research, which is amazing, and I'm going to give you examples on how, as nonprofit professionals, what are the topics we can do deep research on. So Canvas is basically, if you see here, Canvas. So if you're doing any code generation, it opens a separate window and it shows how it's generating the code. So it's basically really good. And then video, like this is Gemini. So this is like they recently released a new video model, which is amazingly great. It's called VO3. And you can, it's a different model, but they've put it in the chat interface so you can access it easily in one place. And basically you can describe the whole scene, and you can describe the dialogues, you can describe the mood, and it'll generate a video based on what you've said in text, which is amazingly great. And you can generate images. You can generate images with ChatGPT as well. Claude doesn't have image generation, so if you're using Claude, you can't generate images. But Claude is really, really good with writing, and I would always lean to Claude when I'm doing writing work. So AI gives nonprofits superpowers. As I said, like you can literally do all of this stuff like in seconds. You can create logo. You can create. You can consult the chatbot about branding for your organization, and based on the conversation that you've had, you can ask the chatbot to create media assets. You can do research. You can you can brainstorm ideas about advocacy campaigns. You can write blogs, appeals. Because I have a very active blog where I write about AI for nonprofits. I'm always brainstorming ideas for the blog title, because I feel like title is very important. That's what gets people to really click and start reading. So I will ask ChatGPT or Claude to come up with a list of 10 based on this blog that I've written. Really compelling titles. So you can do a donor search. Translations is instant. You want to translate something, like if you're serving a diverse demographic, and you want to translate things from like say English to Spanish or Punjabi or any other language, you can. It's almost instant. Transcribing is great. Summarizing, you can upload PDF files, annual reports, this, that, and chat with it. If you've done like, you have like your impact reports for the past 5 years, and you want to understand the impact numbers, you can upload all those files and just ask any of the chatbots to give you the impact numbers to date. Those kind of things you can do. If you're any policy documents you want to understand, you can upload and just chat with it. You can create charts and visualizations. Like these are the kind of things that when I worked with Salesforce Foundation, we had this whole concept of dashboards, and it was so difficult getting nonprofits to create dashboards. We used to have webinars just on how to create dashboards. But you can like literally throw in the spreadsheet with different data points and ask them to create charts and visualizations for you. Proofreading, editing, obviously, like it's a no-brainer. And ads, I'm going to show you that as well. So let me we're talking about deep research, because deep research is a really, really great tool, and I use it a lot. And as nonprofit professionals, understanding the problem that we are solving is so important. Sometimes we only have like a surface level understanding. Like say if you're trying to address food insecurity in Vancouver, you want to understand that problem holistically. And based on that understanding, then we can devise better programs. Or you can, if you're a nonprofit working on that, you can then, when you come across funders, you can pitch those ideas, in your grant proposals. So it's real, and you can find evidence-based practices. So it's so great, deep research as a tool. And also you can create organization profile. So this was like for one of our grant or customer who has been in operation for 25 years, but had never got like a really meaty document about who that organization is. I actually used deep research to create a really nice organization profile. So if you want, we can dive into like a live demo scenario right now. Or would you like me to just run through this and then do some live demos? What do you suggest?
I would say, honestly, whatever you prefer. I don't see any preference here in the chat.
So let me quickly go through all the slides, and then we can do a tons of like, because it takes only minutes to do create things with AI, we can do a lot of those. So deep research, as I said, is a tool that it's an additional tool, and it'll always be at the bottom somewhere on your chat bot, and you have to click on it. So I'm going to show you all of that. But these are reasoning. So as I said, like reasoning is very, very good. So you can, because these models are trained on so much knowledge, sometimes they need to dig deeper to pull out stuff about the stuff that you've asked, So for instance, like, help me solve insecurity problem in Toronto. Like it literally, this was my question prompt to the chatbot. This is DeepSeek, and it took 15 seconds. And actually, just in this thinking process, I learned so much about food insecurity, because as again, we keep throwing these terms, and sometimes our own donors and average people don't understand what we mean by those things. And so it really broke down like food insecurity. First, I should understand what food security means. From what I know, food security isn't just about having enough food. It's about having reliable access to nutritious, affordable food. That I found very interesting. So it literally like broke down the problem, and it came up with like really great innovative solutions. And it took 15 seconds to think. And in that time, it basically went deeper into its knowledge base to pull out the answers for you. Similarly, here I asked Grok, like the question is about ensuring everyone has access to AI and the strategies needed to make that happen. So I had asked Grok that helped me, how can we get AI to everyone? How can we make it accessible to everybody on the planet? And then I did like, you have to click a button which says deep think or reasoning or whatever. And it took about 30 seconds. And this is the thought process. You can actually click and see the thought process. So this is the thought process, this is the thought process, and then it generates an answer. But it's really nice to see how they break. It's like using first principles thinking. It really breaks down the problem and then starts building up the solution from there. Oh, this is a ad I created with VO3, which is now part of Gemini. And I'm so proud of this ad because I have never done films.
We're in the field always, no time to sit and write grants. That's why I use Grant.org. We're in the field always, no time to sit and write grants.
So, like, I've never made ads before in my life, but I made, since I got access to VO3, which has been only about like maybe 2 weeks, I guess, I I made good 6 or 7 ads about GrantOrb, just telling the story. And we've got all these tools now to tell stories in creative ways. Like we don't have to always stick to words. We can really make compelling videos about ads or commercials or whatever we call it about a cause. So Notebook LM, maybe I will show you what Notebook LM is right now at this point. So I'm going to just switch tab, share this tab instead so you can see this. So this is part of Gemini. Like, so if you are like a Gemini subscriber, which is basically $20 a month, and you get access to the chatbot and VO3, you get like limited credits. You can create videos. And then you get access to Notebook LM Pro, which is amazing. And you can see like this is such a powerful tool to understand really complex stuff about our any complex documents basically, which are really boring to read, like research papers and stuff. Like you can just create like a new, and you can if you want to understand obesity, for instance, there's a problem, you can throw in all the research website. You can basically throw in upload all the PDF files about that topic, or if there are any YouTube videos talking about obesity, or if there are any websites which has comprehensive listing about all the problems about that topic, you can just put it all here, and then you can just create an audio. After you've uploaded all the sources, you create an audio, which is literally a podcast. So I want to show, like it takes 2 minutes to create a podcast, like 2 hosts will talk and they will discuss the topic. But what I've been doing is that I've been using my blogs. So I've written like tons and tons of blogs so far about AI and nonprofits and how we can use it. And I want to make this information more accessible. Like sometimes people don't like reading. So for instance, I did this for the power of AI reasoning. I literally just pasted it. I didn't even have to upload the file. I just pasted the text and I said, create an audio overview. And I want to upload this as a podcast now, that people can listen to. So if I say load and Andrew, you can hear when I play, right?
Welcome to the deep dive.
Oh, there we go.
Today we're looking at something, well, pretty exciting actually.
We are. It's about how these new leaps in artificial intelligence might give us powerful tools for really big social challenges.
Yeah, and look, if AI seems like, complicated tech jargon, don't worry. We'll keep it straightforward.
Absolutely. The mission today is just to get a handle on this thing called AI reasoning. What is it, and how could it genuinely help make things better?
Because the pace of change lately has been kind of wild, hasn't it?
So if you could hear, those 2 hosts were artificial, like created by AI, and I feel like it's such a great way to communicate information because, as I said, not every time people want to read stuff, they want to listen. They could be on the bus listening to it. And so I want to convert all my blogs into these mini podcasts that I can upload, that people can consume information. And then you can chat with it, once, this is my learning process these days. Basically, I just listen to the audio and then I ask questions. So, if something intrigues me, then I'll say, okay, so why should change makers use AI reasoning? And it'll give you, because it already has context of what you have uploaded. Based on that information, it'll give you the answers. You can also do things like create, where is it? The mind map. That is really cool. Timeline, FAQs. So this is like a study guide FAQs, the mind map feature. I can't see the mind map feature right now, but it's amazingly cool. So maybe I have created for one of my. So like, for instance, I recently wrote a blog post for one of the organizations here in Canada for British Columbia, Vantage Point, and they had released a report last year about the state of nonprofits and how they're overwhelmed and at the brink of burnout. And I wanted to understand the report better and write an article about how AI can help, which they published. So I just uploaded that report here and multiple reports of other organizations that's talked about the state of nonprofits in Canada. And these are all the different reports that I uploaded, and then I can convert it into a podcast and listen to it and ask questions and things like that. So it's really, really great tool. And for nonprofits, like for your, all your policies can be converted into audio podcast. All the onboarding, employee onboarding stuff can be on the you can convert it into podcast. So anything that you need people to consume information, but you want to make it more bite-sized and fun, then it makes it really easy. Okay, Glenn said, I think mind map is at the bottom if you scroll down. Okay, let's see, because I've created a mind map before and it's really cool too. Like, I can't, study guide, briefing doc, FAQ. Anyways, there's a mind map here, which is really cool as well. But moving on, I'll go back to my presentation. So that was about Notebook LM. You can make podcasts, you can make mind maps and more, like FAQs, frequently asked questions and stuff like that. Like you can upload your volunteer onboarding policy in there and then ask to create FAQs. Or if you've written a book about a topic and you want that information to be more accessible, like then you can upload it there and ask to create FAQs. Or you can create FAQs about your organization. Like you can do so much. This is basically a podcast I created using Notebook LM about, I had done a research on impact DAOs and I created a course. So basically it's that. I won't play it right now, but it's amazing. Like I didn't have access to these tools in 2022 when the book came out. But now that I have, I'm trying to put that information in different formats so that people can consume it better. You can create games. Like, as I said, I don't know how to code, but all this code got generated in literally seconds. This was using Gemini, Canvas. I talked about Canvas. So basically it opens up a project in the start. And because now we can do things, we can, AI allows us to do things that we could only dream of. We can now apply it, so we can be more innovative in how we make people understand our cause. So for instance, for me, it was because I've been a fundraiser and I understand what's effective fundraising, basically, especially when you're a small team and you're literally a one-person team fundraising, where should you put most of your efforts? So I wanted to help nonprofits understand that. And I said the game was about an old arcade style game, shoot the balloons to raise funds for your nonprofit. And so there were balloons of smaller amounts and there were balloons of higher amount. And if you wasted all your ammo in shooting small ones, then you basically raised little money. So it's basically just where should you put your focus on if you are a small organization? How should you fundraise? Like, it's all about effective fundraising. This one, video understanding, is again a very, very powerful tool. Like, for me personally, somebody who has always been writing on the side about technology and social impact, and I'm still doing it. Like, this was my very first video last year when I did on harnessing AI for social good. This was for Vancouver TechSoup chapter. I literally just put the link in Google Gemini, and I said, write a blog post verbatim the way Deepa, the speaker, talks on how AI supercharges nonprofits. And so it thinks, it's also a reasoning model. So it thinks what the user has asked for. So understand the goal. The request is to create a blog post verbatim as if Deepa is speaking, focusing on how AI, so this is just a screenshot. And then it wrote the entire blog post based on the video. It literally saw everything and the video has in seconds. So I'll show you something cool that I'm doing currently. Share this tab instead. So this is, again, what I did is, I have as I said, a blog that I've been writing for over a year. I took a screenshot of all the articles that I have written, and I wanted them to be, I want to put out like a guide about everything that's happened in AI so far. And over the course of 1 year, I've shared lots of tips on how to create images and how to create videos and how to do this and how to create music. And there's so much information I've put out there, but I want to release it as one big fat guide. So I put this video in here, and I said, I write a blog on AI for nonprofits, and these are all the articles I've written. I want to now write an article on your big fat guide for AI for nonprofits, and clubbing these articles as this is everything that's happened in AI today. How would you categorize them? So basically, I wanted to find a structure because there's so many articles, but you can put them in broad categories. And it literally did that for me. Like, look at this. Part 1. And then I found it to be still, this to be more complex, like for people to navigate. So I wanted to simplify. So I had like tons and tons of back and forth conversation. It holds all that information in its context. And by the end of it, I think we've really simplified, and I'll be dropping that blog this week, just everything that's happened. Like, so we'll start with like, because I've given so many examples in each of these. But this is like a great example of how you can convert video content or use video content and use AI to understand that and do things with it, like blog posts, or extract 5 most compelling quotes from this video, or write a blog post, or transcribe it, and it'll do it with timestamps. So it's so powerful. And every nonprofit, I bet, has this, like creating content, because at the end of the day, we have 2 jobs. One is to tell stories, and the stories lead to fund generation. And obviously, you can also write blog, but you not blog, grant proposal, but you're telling a different story there. It's a more formal story that you're telling over there. But on social media or on your website or your newsletters, everything is just the story about who you are, why you do what you do, what your cause is about. And so we're basically content creators. And then we obviously have the other side where we're doing program delivery, right? We actually are in the communities doing stuff. But there too, sometimes we need to create awareness about why you should eat healthy, and or why smoking is bad, or things like that. So basically, there's so much of content creation, and AI is a perfect tool for that. This is another game I created, Grant Seeker Race Against AI, just to help people understand that you can't compete with AI. So if you say, oh, I'm going to still continue to write grants with hand, it's like, okay, let's just have a match with AI. And the goal of this game was to basically just enter the names of the grant proposal titles, and whoever enters this first wins. And so this was another creative way to just help people understand why they should use AI. This is to talk about visual reasoning. That, as I said, AI understands all form of communication, and this, like, if you upload an image, you can ask AI about, one is what's happening in that image, but also about the elements of it. So if you see these parking signs are very confusing, and the person asks, it's Wednesday at 4 p.m. Can I park at the spot right now? Tell me in one line. And the AI said, yes, you can park for up to 1 hour starting at 4 p.m. Yeah. How much time it would have taken for humans to understand this board? But for AI, it was like instant. This example I showed in my last class as well. But this, I feel like anybody who's working in nutrition and healthy eating and all of that stuff, I know Jackie's working. Like you can make, you can literally test recipes, by showing pictures of stuff and say, I have this, this, and this, and show those 4 pictures and create a recipe and test it out. And if it's good, publish it, So this is one that I had taken from the farmer's market where I just showed 4 different kinds of vegetables and asked to create a recipe based on that. Or if you don't understand, like, again, the farmer's market season is on and I go there and there are so many different types of vegetables that I don't understand at times. I just take a picture and ask, like, how can I use this greens for, instead of asking the persons, sometimes they don't have time to tell you. So you can just take a picture and ask the chatbot. You can create cartoons, you can create graphics. I created this using ChatGPT, again, about, just to show like the importance of AI, because I think partly my job is also to like help people understand that this is really a transformative technology and it really helps you with your work. It reduces the workload, it reduces your stress levels, and you can get work done faster. So it's all created in like seconds. I recently redesigned my website, and this is the conversation I had with Claude. So basically, I took the screenshots of my old website, and I wanted to redesign the top section, which is above the fold. And I took a screenshot of that. I put it into Claude, but you can do this with Gemini too. It'll be really cool. Maybe we can do that as an example. And I asked it to be more impactful. And there's so much to communicate sometimes, like you want to say so much, but you don't want to have it very text heavy. So it came up with this really great idea that I didn't have it on my website. Like I wanted to say, you can write any type of brands, and there was so much to communicate, but you need to be able to communicate that information in the most precise way. So it came up with these kind of buttons, and which I really loved it. And so I took some from here. On the side, I also consulted with Gemini. I even put the same screenshot I put there. Then I put Claude's proposition and asked Gemini what Gemini thinks about it, and got one AI to really analyze the work of the other AI. And so you can really optimize for better outputs like that. Yeah, so as this is how I always end my presentations. This is just the start. It's all going to get, there's going to be more magic coming from AI. Like the VO3, which just, I think the last workshop I had with TechSoup was on visual storytelling. And we were using VO2 that day. We created like an amazing video. And that very day, Google launched VO3, which is that now you can also have dialogues and sound effects and background music and everything in your videos. Before it was all like a silent movie era. So it's all going to be so good for us because we can do more things, things that we couldn't do before. And we can articulate our cause really well and influence people to give, to volunteer, to be part of what you're doing. Like that's what we do. So I would highly suggest that you start building your AI muscle because it's not going to happen instantly. Like if you say, oh, I'm going to use AI today for this and then don't use it for 3 days, it's not going to happen. So you have to force yourself to use AI because it's a big habit change, right? We didn't have this technology in our life before, and now suddenly we have it. So it requires a conscious effort. And you have to think about everything that you're doing, like every like every little task that you're doing. Instead of asking your colleague, ask AI. Just build that muscle. And ideate with AI, and just as I said, every little thing that you do it with AI. And in about like 10 days or so, you'll see it become part of your system. You will not be able to function without it. which is good thing because your quality of ideas, your programs, everything is going to be far more better. So the only way to do it is to do it by doing. So that's the end of my presentation, and we can touch upon few demos right now. If you want me to show you deep, maybe I can do deep research.
We had a request here for an example for creating perhaps a Google ad.
Google app.
And then after some suggestions, we have one question here. But yeah, a Google ad was.
Oh, the VO3. Let me see if I have credits, because I keep running out of my credits. You reached your video generation limit, but we can use AI Studio, and it doesn't have VO3, so it will be one without dialogues and sound. It'll still be there, like the whole scene will be there, but it'll be without dialogues. As you can see, I'm out of my limit till 11:39.
I see. Yes.
But
Actually, curious
yeah,
question. What is typically the limit here on Gemini?
I think they give you. It's not been steady. Like they gave me 10, and I used up all 10. Obviously, you make a few blunders, like not every time your video doesn't come out the way it has to. So yeah, they give you 10, and then they said, oh, I'm out of limit. Like for instance, today I'm out of limit till 11:39. So I don't know how much they give me back.
I see. I see. And we have a request here just to demo Claude, if you could.
Yeah, Claude, I'm on. Sorry, let me go back to Claude. Claude, I have share this tab instead. Okay, so Claude, I'm on a free plan at this point of time. But what is it that, so Claude, this is what Claude looks like. So you have Claude Sonnet 4, which is the latest model. So go with that. And then there are more models. They always hide the old models here. And all the style web search is here. Like if this is turned on, then it'll also, like whatever you are, whatever your conversation is with Claude, it will also search the web with that. If you've asked for something, then they have different styles here. I always have a default like normal. And it upload a file, take a screenshot. So if you want, we can do TechSoup website remake.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I'm just gonna text. What's your TechSoup.org?
.org. Yep.
.org. Okay. So I'm going to just take the above the fold. Oops, sorry. It has moving things. So let me just take that. It's taken. So I've taken a screenshot because it's important that AI is able to see what I want AI to do. So, and I'm going to upload a file. So must be right here. I want to make the above the fold section more impactful. And if you like a certain style, like maybe Ogilvy style, you know, like if you know, like I'm just playing with it, but let's see what it comes. So it opens an artifact, which is exactly like it's writing the code as well. an artifact and canvas, like Gemini canvas, is the same thing. And I think ChatGPT also has something same. Like whenever the task is takes too much space, it just opens up on the side, and then you can have the conversation right here, and it'll update it or iterate on it on the side. It's doing a lot.
And while we're waiting for this, see a question here. Is it better to have a picture or a screenshot for the AI to analyze than inputting the URL?
I would say, yeah. So this is the TechSoup exclusive nonprofit access, the AI revolution that's strong. I mean, you can iterate on this. This is their first version that they came up with, and you say unlock your AI advantage, see live demo, anything you want to change, colors you want to change, quotes you want to change. And then what I would do is now I'm working through the rest of my website as well. Like I only did the above the fold section. I'm going to be taking screenshots of each of those sections and putting it in there. Obviously, you have to provide context, like what are you trying to achieve for that section? You know, what are your end goals for that section? You know, you want to simplify it, or you want to make this more easily understandable. Like whatever it is, you have to provide that bit of context, attach the screenshot, and then I'll recommend
That is
the stuff.
that is incredible. I like how it gives you the code
Yeah.
to actually do it.
Yeah, exactly. And if you have somebody, like you can just copy paste the code, or if you code it in a certain way, like you can ask them to create it in that file. So it's really good, but at least you can prototype it here, you know, like website is so important. Like when people come, you want to really optimize it. Say you want to optimize it for giving, you know, for donations or something, you can prototype the entire website here. And then if you have somebody who does the updates for you, and actually soon enough I'll be writing an article about how you can do it yourself, because my engineers are training me for that as well. You can update your own website, like push the code out. I've done it a little bit, but I want to gain more confidence, and then I'll write a post on how you can do it yourself.
Awesome. And yeah, I did share a link to your newsletter. I'll drop that one more time
Oh
in the
yes.
chat. I highly suggest everybody to check out all of your posts. And then we do have one more question here from Kara, asking about the ethical considerations of using AI and trusting that it's not stealing others' work. She says, I don't want our nonprofit to end up being sued for stealing content, which is a
It is.
valid concern.
Yeah, it is the content. It is trained on all the data, as I said, is available on the open internet. And some of them might have their own policies, like we don't train on this data or that. So it's very difficult to know where the data sources are coming from. It's all a soup right now. It all goes into those large language models. But as an end user, I highly feel empowered that I can create commercials. And my policy would be for using like, you know, like if you're like, should we use like people, like, you know, like getting somebody to, like, it'll be the same policy. Like before you use stock photos, right? Because you couldn't go and take high quality photographs. So you took stock photos, and you had some policies around that. Like you don't want to show nudity or whatever the thing is. Like it is like basic. And actually Gemini has tons of guardrails. You cannot say, if you say something, it will not generate for you. So they've already put tons of guardrails in video generation. Sora less so right now, like I would say, but Gemini has been really good. And they also have like a synth ID or something, like a transparent watermark on every video that is created through Gemini. This is to help people, for them to know, because they get which is human created and which is AI created, you know, content. So it's like, yeah, like just stick to your ethics when creating content. You wouldn't want to create anything that is not appropriate.
Yeah, it's great answer here. So yeah, highly recommend to just go ahead and create. And I think you're very safe from being sued for stealing content.
Oh no, it's not stealing. This is yours. When you regenerate,
Yep,
it is creating new content. It is not
yep.
a stolen content at all. It is the word itself is regenerate. So it is. And in some places, like last session, we had Mid-Journey, and I was showing how you can use other people's prompt. So when you use other people's prompt as well, we generated a certain content, and when you reuse that prompt, what you create will always be different from what that person created using the same prompt. So it will never exactly be the same.
That's awesome. Well, great. I'm not seeing any more questions here in the chat, so I think we can go ahead and wrap up, and we are just now on the hour. First of all, I want to thank you, Deepa, for being here and sharing your expertise as always. And thank you all for joining us here. If you have any other questions that do come up, feel free to ask them in Quad. I see Aaron dropped a link to the event page to go ahead and drop us some of your feedback. And again, we'd love to see your creations. I think we'll be starting some sections in Quad to just share what we're all generating in AI and help each other grow and create more. So
Yeah,
once
and
again, or
Andrew,
go ahead, Deepa.
I wanted to say that if anybody's interested about how to use AI to create amazing visuals and videos, then definitely refer to my last video, which I think, Andrew, will be available in Quad, right? Like,
Yep,
I
yep,
should.
it is available on Quad now. Let me grab that link, or I did share it earlier in the chat. Let me just copy it. It's the event Bring Your Mission to Life with AI and nonprofit visuals. That was an awesome event. Really got my creative juices flowing. So I'm sure it will be inspiring for everyone else. And again, if anybody has questions that come up after watching the recording in the future or sharing it with your colleagues, Deepa is in Quad, and we're always looking and monitoring to answer your questions. So don't be shy. And with that, I think we can go ahead and wrap up. So I hope everybody here has a great rest of your day, and we will see you in the future. So thank you, everybody, and thank you, Deepa. Take
Thank you.
care.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.